Welcome to this tutorial on working with XML in PowerShell. XML parsing is an essential skill for anyone working with structured data in PowerShell. Throughout this video, you'll learn how to read, navigate, modify, and save XML files using PowerShell's built-in capabilities. Let's get started with understanding what XML is and how PowerShell makes it easy to work with. XML stands for Extensible Markup Language. It's a format designed for storing and transporting structured data in a way that's both human-readable and machine-readable. XML is widely used for configuration files, data exchange between systems, web services, and application programming interfaces. One of the biggest advantages of using XML in PowerShell is that PowerShell has native support for handling XML documents. This means you can work with XML files using built-in CMDlets and methods without needing any additional modules or tools. Let's look at a basic XML structure to understand how XML documents are organized. Every XML document starts with an XML declaration that specifies the version and encoding. In this example, we have a books element that acts as the root container. Inside, there's a book element with an id attribute set to 1. The book element contains child elements like title, author, and year. Notice how each opening tag has a corresponding closing tag. This hierarchical structure makes it easy to organize and access data. The book element has an attribute called id, which provides additional information about that specific book entry. PowerShell provides two primary methods for loading XML files. The first method uses get-content with typecasting. You create a variable and use the XML type accelerator in square brackets, followed by get-content and the file path. This approach reads the file content and converts it directly into an XML object. The second method uses the new -object CMDlet to create a system.xml.xml document object. Then you call the load method on that object and pass the file path as a parameter. Both methods are effective, but the first method with typecasting is more concise and commonly used by PowerShell users. Once you've loaded an XML file into a variable, accessing its elements is straightforward using dot notation. To access the root element, you simply use the variable name followed by a dot and the element name. For example, $XML.books accesses the book's root element. To access child elements and their properties, you continue chaining with dot notation. $XML.books.book.title retrieves the title of the book. Similarly, $XML.books.book.author gets the author name. To access attributes, you use the same dot notation with the attribute name, like $XML.books.book.id. This intuitive syntax makes navigating XML structures in PowerShell very simple. When your XML file contains multiple elements at the same level, you'll need to iterate through them. PowerShell makes this easy with a for-each loop. In this example, we loop through each book in the $XML.books.book collection. For each iteration, the current book is stored in the $book variable. Inside the loop, you can access properties of each book using dot notation. Write-host displays the title, author, and year for each book. Notice how we use $ with parentheses to embed the property values within the strings. This technique allows you to process large XML files with many elements efficiently. XPath is a powerful query language for selecting specific nodes from XML documents. PowerShell supports XPath through the select nodes and select single node methods. To select all book elements regardless of their position in the document, use $XML.selectNodes with the XPath expression $book. This returns all matching elements. To filter by an attribute value, use select single node with an XPath expression like $book with square brackets containing @ id equals "1". This selects the specific book with an id attribute of 1. To select specific child elements, use an expression like $book/title. XPath queries give you precise control over which elements you want to retrieve from complex XML documents. PowerShell allows you to modify XML content easily. To update an element's value, simply assign a new value using dot notation. For example, $xml.books.book.title equals "new title" changes the title element's content. To update an attribute value, use the setAttribute method. Call $xml.books.book.setAttribute and pass two parameters. The attribute name as the first parameter, in this case "id", and the new value as the second parameter, such as "to". These modifications are made in memory, which means they don't automatically save to the file. You'll need to explicitly save the changes, which we'll cover in the next section. To add new elements to your XML document, you need to create them first using the createElement method. Start by creating a new book element with $newBook equals $xml.createElement, passing "book" as the parameter. Then, set its attributes using setAttribute, passing "id" and "to" as parameters. Next, create child elements like title using the same createElement method. Set the inner text property of the title element to the desired value, such as "advanced PowerShell". Use the appendChild method to add the title element to the new book element. Finally, append the new book to the books collection using $xml.books.appendChild, passing the new book variable. This process allows you to dynamically build XML structures programmatically. After making modifications to your XML document, you need to save the changes back to a file. PowerShell offers two methods for this. The first and most common method is using the save method directly on the XML object. Simply call $xml.save and pass the file path as a parameter, like "C:"data\books.xml". This saves the entire XML document with proper formatting. The second method uses set-content with the outer XML property. Pipe $xml.outerXML to set-content followed by the file path. Both methods work effectively, but the save method is generally preferred as it handles formatting and encoding automatically. Always remember to save your changes, otherwise they'll be lost when your PowerShell session ends.
If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Visit CodeLucky.com for more such useful content.